Hey guys, what's up? Today I want to show you the 10 best modern strategy JRPGs. Now, I won't be including ports, remasters, or re-releases of any kind, because that would be cheating. All of these games were released 6 years ago, no more, no less. All of these games are from 2016 up until today. However, I will be including remakes, a couple of remakes. Full remakes, not remasters, remakes. Because unfortunately the genre has been dying for the past several years, so there are barely any strategy JRPGs out there, apart from all the indie RPGs and Western RPGs. When it comes to Japanese strategy RPGs, we have gotten barely anything. But anyway, get ready because these 10 are great games that you should check out. So let's begin! Number 10. Disgaea 6 Defiance of Destiny. This is the latest Disgaea entry in the series and it just came out a few months ago, except it's currently exclusive to the Switch worldwide because the PS4 version only came out in Japan. The reason why is because some developers like NIS, for example, publishers and developers of this series, are starting to stay away from Sony, might be due to the company's censorship policies or something else. Alas, I don't have much to say about this game because I only played the demo and I actually liked it. Story's got the usual twisted and silly sense of humor about a zombie kid who plans to kill the god of destruction of the netherworld. Accompanied by his loyal servant the zombie Cerberus, he starts preparing for the aforementioned battle. So far, I noticed it has the usual Disgaea gameplay features, plus some extra additions like the battle animations, but graphically speaking, it kinda struggles a little bit on the Switch, but that shouldn't be a surprise. I hope this game comes to the PS4, but if it's gonna be a Switch only, then it's alright I guess, at least for me. Number 9. Concept Revolt. Concept Revolt was released on July 2016 in Japan, but it didn't reach our lands until October of 2017, over a year later after its original release. This, however, is far from your average strategy RPG. Characters are positioned in a board where they'll be going around in circles until one of them wins. Each place of the board has different features like terrain-affected areas or debuffs, for example. Characters use spell cards for almost every action, including battle. That is exactly how you'll fight your way through in this board governed by dice. It's kinda hard to get into at first, and some of the boards can take way too long, so I will only recommend this game with all that in mind, as it is quite niche and hard to compare. The story follows an amnesiac protagonist, but he joins a resistant group fighting the government. So while cliched at first, it does take some interesting turns during the plot. Overall, it's certainly one of the most unique strategy RPGs ever made, but one that I still recommend to gamers looking for some real complex stuff. Number 8. Summon Night 6 Lost Borders. This game, also available on the PS Vita, is a crossover. It invites characters from all previous main Summon Night games, including the 5th one on the PSP. That is the only one we've gotten localized so far, sadly. Either way, you get pretty acquainted with everybody else so quickly here, as the game has a lot of dialogue and special scenes with all of them. Your characters can move around in grid-based areas around the maps. They will be able to summon creatures for a spell, a buff, or a debuff. They can also do joint attacks called Summon Assist if others are nearby, or even summon burst skills, which are large area of effect attacks that do massive damage. I like this battle system, it's pretty darn cool. Story follows 3 different characters in a desolated world. One day, each of them will start meeting the characters from the Summon Night series randomly being thrown in there, so everyone will have to find a way to get them all back home. It doesn't really matter if you play the other games or not, you can enjoy this great game nonetheless. Number 7. God Wars Future Past. I've covered this game a lot during the past few years. Because of the lack of Japanese strategy RPGs nowadays, I was so excited to see it announced back in the day. I played the PS4 version, but it's also on the Vita. A complete and definitive edition exists on the Switch though. You follow the quest of Princess Kaguya trying to find her missing mother, but right after being chosen as a sacrifice, and it's a grid-based tactical game that follows the teachings of the classic Tactics Ogre. Characters can have more than one job and learn abilities from them and so on. Only 6 characters can participate during battle, which makes it easier to manage and to choose a definitive party for the rest of the game. I like the graphical style and the model animations for each one of them, but it does have some kinky fan service with the design of some. Overall, this is a love letter to several strategy RPGs of previous generations and definitely a must play for fans of the genre. Number 6. Fire Emblem Echoes. Like I said at the beginning, this video will include remakes, not remasters, ports or re-releases, but full remakes specifically developed for modern systems. Echoes is one of them, and it's a remake of Fire Emblem Gaiden, the second game in the series that came out on the Famicom at the early 90s, but only in Japan. There are 2 protagonists, but you'll have to play with both, each with their own allies and part of the plot. You'll be switching between them regularly, so don't worry about who to play with first. A new feature that wasn't in the original is that you can explore dungeons here and partake in random battles. They still play on grids, but they're fairly short. This is all in order for you to grind and find items. So it's a very friendly Fire Emblem game for beginners, but still challenging enough to keep you entertained. One of the best modern strategy RPGs for sure. Number 1. Langrisser 1 and 2 Remakes. Here's the second remake I mentioned before. Once more we find ourselves with a full reimagining of the very old RPGs from the early 90s. One of them being Warsong on the Sega Genesis. Kadokawa Games launched these new versions of Warsong 1 and 2 with their real names Langrisser 1 and 2. So they're grid-based strategy RPGs where you can use one of your commanders alone or hire mercenaries to help them. Every time you go into a battle, these animations play out in a rock-paper-scissors mechanic. Both games offer multiple routes and endings, so they have massive replay value. As one of the only competitors to Fire Emblem back in the day, Langrisser came on board with some really unique ideas. Too bad it never got the recognition it deserved. I do hope one day we get the other games in the series with a similar or perhaps even better treatment. Number 4. Project Cross Zone 2. This one barely made it as the Japanese version was released on November 2015 in Japan. The rest of the world though saw it on 2016, so I'd say it can be here, right? I mean, it has to, cause it's such an underrated game. People often stay away from this one and its predecessor cause they don't know some of the series some characters come from. But if you're into strategy RPGs and have some love for others that you do know, I'm confused as to why you haven't tried it. The game's just as good as the first one, except it has less combos during battle, but for what it's worth, that only makes the maps go faster. And as usual, it has a massive array of characters that go from Fire Emblem Awakening all the way to Xenoblade Chronicles. Every time I play these 2 games, I get so addicted to them. I hope the same can happen to you if you haven't played them. Number 3. Fire Emblem Three Houses. The latest game in the series released a couple of years ago. This one includes several gameplay features never seen before in a Fire Emblem game. Your customizable character is both a student and a teacher in a school, so you'll be increasing stats while attending class, but also giving it to your party members. Obviously you can only play as one house, each with one co-protagonist, but you already knew that. It's a very addictive game to play because of these new Persona-like features, but I'm so glad it remained true with its battle system still played on grids with several characters at your command. A great strategy RPG from this generation. Number 2. Valkyrie Chronicles 4. Released back in 2018, once again developed by both Sega and MediaVision, the creators of Wild Arms. 2 years later, Sega revealed the game had sold over 1 million copies worldwide across all platforms it was released on: PS4, Switch, PC, and even Google Stadia. I'm mentioning this because despite its sales, I don't think it got the reception it deserved, but I'm happy to know the consensus is quite positive nowadays. After all, I think it's a phenomenal game in the series and pretty much its pinnacle. You probably already know it takes place in the same universe as all the others, but with its own characters and part of the European War. The same superb gameplay is back, but now with a few new additions like the Brave system, for example, and a new class called the Grenadier. Still with beautiful cel-shaded graphics, excellent artwork and design, besides giving some extra strength to your party members with several side quests. Overall, one of the best modern strategy RPGs. Number 1. 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. The crown today belongs to this underrated game, barely a year old. Lots of coverage was there when it came out, but now it's starting to fade away. Its niche, a real-time strategy RPG, most of those aren't popular and eventually become hidden gems. I hope this Vanillaware masterpiece can avoid that. I never miss a chance to talk about it. So you play with 13 different students in a story full of flashbacks and time jumps. It's very confusing at first, but it starts making sense as you unlock more chapters of each character. In order to keep unlocking them, you'll have to proceed with the story during battle. These battles are from a top-down view angle, and you can control up to 6 characters fighting in their mechs. You have to give them a direction and a command, be it an attack, area of effect attack, buff or debuff. After your selection, they will carry them out on their own. And no, it doesn't take long at all to understand this battle system properly, which is why you shouldn't shy away from it. I strongly recommend this excellent RPG. It's very unique and with one of the best written stories in modern JRPGs. I really hope Triangle Strategy, which will be published by Square Enix next year, on March next year, I hope it will bring back this genre, it will revive this genre. It's my favorite video game genre of all time, and I don't want to see it die so soon. Come on. Thank you indie developers, indie studios out there who are still making strategy RPGs, pretty much keeping this amazing genre alive. Thank you very much. Do not forget that my books are available on Amazon. These are very worth reading for this Halloween season. Link in the description below. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends. Long live strategy RPGs, man! We can't let the genre die. See you next time!